So something that's been making the rounds lately and has people being a bit more talkative than usual is Todd Howard acknowledging the pace of development when it comes to their franchises. It's a lot slower than any of us would like. Let's talk about Bethesda's development time. In a recent interview about Starfield, the interviewer brought up the speed at which these titles are being created. And Todd admitted to the reality that the pace the games are being produced is incredibly slow, and he personally wished they could come out faster. It's very likely that Starfield won't get a sequel until at least 10 years from now. This isn't just Starfield, honestly. Really, any of the franchises now have a very, very long road ahead of them. For instance, look at The Elder Scrolls. Skyrim was released in 2011. It's now 2022, and still has not received a sequel. Assuming Starfield reaches its scheduled release year of 2023, then they'll begin full production of The Elder Scrolls 6. Based on Morrowind's release date to Starfield's expected release date, it seems to take Bethesda Game Studios about 3 to 4 years to develop and release a game. This makes the most likely release year for The Elder Scrolls 6 2026 or 2027. And since Bethesda seems to go with the bigger is better route and has constantly been trying to make each new world larger, I'd honestly expect 2027, which means the time from The Elder Scrolls 5 to The Elder Scrolls 6 is 16 years. A child could be born on Skyrim's release date and be driving by the time the 6th entry rolls around. I don't know how to say it any better than, that's a ridiculous amount of time, no matter how you look at it. From a purely consumer standpoint, it's honestly unacceptable. I completely understand the sentiment of quality over quantity. Don't rush perfection, Rome wasn't built in a day. I get all that, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of comments from people happily agreeing to such a mindset, that waiting such a long time for Elder Scrolls 6 is worth it if the game is good. But man, 16 years? That's 22.03% of the average lifespan on a global scale. A good amount of people won't be around to see it. And not just Elder Scrolls, but this reality is true for all their IPs. Fallout 5 may not come out until 2031. Of course, Creation Engine 2 and work at home did eat up some of this time, so not all these variables will be in place after Starfield. But still, let's just say it takes them 4 years to make a game these days. That's 12 years for a sequel. Better than 16, but man, even on the more optimistic 3 years a game, 9 is still pretty close to a decade to wait. What solutions are there really? To start with, I want to clarify that I fully understand that the team at Bethesda Game Studios is definitely giving it their all and working really hard. I respect and understand that. Forcing more crunch time on an already stressed workforce is not the way to go. The game development world is already pretty plagued with such practices and causes mental and physical health problems to its staff. Beyond that, it would likely make the quality of the product suffer, and truthfully, we wouldn't really gain anything. So definitely don't go this route. But something needs to be done just without harming the staff. Lowering the scope of their projects could be an option, but I feel like that goes against Todd Howard's design philosophy. With the recent purchase by Microsoft, there may be financial backing to increase the staff size, which would have a positive effect. Todd did mention this possibility in the interview, but he also didn't dwell on the topic too heavily, just said he wished the process was faster. Now, would Microsoft go for that? I think it would depend. Let's say Starfield sells very, very well. Then Todd might have more clout and be able to say, hey, we're a good investment. You saw that for yourself. To continue pushing out popular products to our fans at a much faster pace, we'll need more hands on deck. Of course, assuming Starfield sells well, Bethesda would likely make enough money to be able to afford new stuff on their own. Another solution is pushing work to another company. They do this to some extent. Bethesda has a number of subsidiaries that they insource work to, with perhaps Bethesda Game Studios Austin being the company with the most experience by working on Fallout 76. While a lot of people may be iffy with the idea of giving Austin more games, it may be very different if the game is purely single player. They could outsource to other companies. Back before the Microsoft purchase, Todd Howard said they were less likely to outsource again due to getting so big. However, this was back in 2018. Times changed, franchises grown, evolvement and structure happened, and they recently got help on 76 with Double 11, so anything is possible. Or maybe look at a sister company instead, any company owned by Microsoft. The most obvious contender is Obsidian, which has staff with experience in Gamebryo, which Creation Engine, and by extension Creation Engine 2, is based off of. And Obsidian has a bit of a reputation for making sequels to other franchises. While Obsidian is a fine choice for Fallout due to their experience with it, thanks to Fallout New Vegas, even with staff who were there since the beginning of the franchise, they may not fit the mold of Elder Scrolls or Starfield. Even without that, they still have their own franchises to contend with, especially with Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 coming up. Still, there are plenty of studios within the Microsoft umbrella they could work with. but letting another company use Creation Engine 2 to produce new games for their franchises may be the way to go. Judging from the speed between Oblivion to Fallout 3 or Fallout 3 to New Vegas, and even Fallout 4 to Fallout 76, having an engine at the ready may be great for producing what I like to call secondary main titles. The type of games that are canon do feel like the main title game, just developed by a different company, usually not named with a number at the end, perhaps smaller, and often with lots of asset flips. Think New Vegas or Grand Theft Auto Liberty City or Vice City Stories. But would they really want to go that route? While they may be cool with Fallout getting such a treatment, Fallout isn't really their baby. They definitely made it their own, but they didn't create it and likely don't have the same personal feelings for it. It's hard to say. Bethesda did let ZeniMax create Elder Scrolls Online, but ZeniMax is their parent company, so I'm not sure how much Todd really had to say. It would be a great way to keep the franchises alive, keep the consumers happy, while Bethesda produces each main game. But of course, it all depends. Anyway, I do think the pace of the sequels is a very real and very big issue for Bethesda. It's obviously not something we consumers really need to dwell on. There's more important matters and plenty of games out there. But I think Bethesda really does have to figure something out going forward. What are your thoughts? You cool with a slow burn so long as the game comes out good at the end? Or do you feel like Bethesda should actually work on getting games out faster?